I was fresh out of university, broke, and a little bit lost. A friend of mine gave me a seat on a seminar that she thought could really help me. And so I found myself on a sunny day in Santa Monica, California, at a nice hotel by the beach, sitting and listening to a man named David Allen, who I didn't know it at the time was going to change my life. That was 20 years ago. And in the past 2 decades, I've used what he taught me, the Getting Things Done methodology, to navigate some incredible ups and downs and a real adventure of 2 decades. So in celebration of my 20th anniversary of becoming a GTD practitioner, I just wanted to share with you some of the most important lessons I've learned in that time. First big lesson for me has been about commitments and the importance of commitments. Commitments really matter, and to me that's not just a theory. It's really no more a theory than gravity is. Nor is it a moral stance, like you ought to keep your commitments or you really should. The fact that commitments matter has been proven to me time and time again by how much our brains will try to help us fulfill our commitments and keep track of those things we said we wanted or needed to do. Sometimes in really inappropriate ways, like waking us up in the middle of the night. And why is this? Well, basically all the time you're either keeping or breaking your commitments. When you keep your commitments, you reinforce that sense of yourself as a competent, trustworthy person. And by contrast, when you break your commitments, you erode some of that. So more and more, I've just come to realize this is a law, of our psyche. We've evolved in some way that maintaining that sense of ourselves through keeping our commitments has become so incredibly important that if we don't have any other way of dealing with it, it will start to drive us crazy. So what we do in the Getting Things Done approach is we create an external system. We create something that will help you track not just some of your commitments, not just the ones, the top 5 or those that you think are most important or are top of mind, because frankly, you're hearing yourself make these commitments and some part of you is tracking them all the time. So create a comprehensive inventory of your commitments. And that to me, that has been absolutely liberating. The next really big lesson has been about clarity. And really, you're either creating clarity for yourself and for those around you, or you're kind of contributing to the squishiness, as I like to call it. So clarity doesn't just happen. A bit like the importance of commitments, there's this principle in the physical world called entropy, which is just that things aren't going to organize themselves. In fact, over time, they're going to naturally tend toward getting less organized, toward degrading, if you like. And the same is true with knowledge work, as I've found it, that basically you're either creating clarity by thinking things through up front, or if you're letting things go, things are slipping by you, you're missing things, you're waiting till the 11th hour to think under duress about what's going on, you're kind of part of the problem. To me, one of the biggest skills of any manager or executive, anyone in a leadership position, is to create clarity first for themselves and then for those around them, and to communicate that effectively and well so that everyone is pulling in the same direction. There's so many lessons that GTD has taught me and has shown me and validated in not only my own practice, but working with so many people over time. I could probably do the whole alphabet, but let's move on from C to D, decisions. GTD's taught me a lot about the importance of decisions. And again, here the idea is really that either you're making decisions or decisions are going to be made for you. And not deciding is a decision that ultimately has consequences for you. So in the Getting Things Done methodology, we encourage people to decide as much as possible up front, to think things through and to decide. And it kind of comes back to that point about making clarity as often as we need to and as soon as we can. The reason for this is really that we then can get that clarified thinking into our system and work from something that's clarified and work from something that we don't have to rethink. So decisions matter and decisions take energy. So why not decide once? Why not think it through once up front and then relate to the results of your thinking rather than rethinking and rethinking and rethinking? It's just energy inefficient. But corollary with that is the importance also of reviewing your decisions, renegotiating your commitments, having this inventory that you can review on a day-to-day basis and also once a week. to understand, what have I decided and how have things changed in the meanwhile, so that it's not this rigid process of, decide once and stick to it and stay the course, but rather it's dynamic. It's constantly reevaluating what you've decided, what you've said you'd do. And this has been one of the huge keys for me to navigate seemingly endless interests in this world, right? In and outside of work. So many things that I've wanted to do and been able to do thanks to the Getting Things Done methodology over the last 20 years. GTD has taught me so much, and the content of my life, the richness of my life is what it is, but it wouldn't have been that way without this system, this framework, these guiding principles and these lessons that have served me really, really well over the last 20 years. So the last lesson is one actually that my mother taught me. That friend that first introduced me to GTD was Catherine Allen, David's wife. And so it's really both Catherine and David that I have to thank for bringing this methodology to me, for giving me the opportunity to engage with it, to work with it, and to help spread these principles to so many other people, and to see it also give them so much relief and hope and clarity and success, and to enrich their lives as well. So really, I can't think of a better way to end my sort of reflection on some of the things that GTD has brought to me than with these two words, for David and for Catherine. Thank you.